EPS, Associate Professor, doing a DECRA project at the moment, and it's my great pleasure to have been invited to be the host for today, or the facilitator for today. These lightning talks are really taking off. There's a lot of interest that's been generated. I've been to a couple and I've learnt a lot about the research that's going on. So welcome everyone. We're very excited today to hear two great presentations. The first one is called Machine Learning Supported Literacy Acquisition, an example of collaborating internationally and interdisciplinarily. Oh, that's a big mouthful. And this presentation is going to be led by Professor Meike Munser-Kiefer from the University of Regensburg in Germany, and Danielle Heinrichs, Richard Böhme, also from the University of Regensburg. And of course, Danielle is one of our own superstars. And more superstars from GEAR, Sarah Prestridge and Professor Beryl Exley. So welcome to our first presenters. I'm going to vacate the floor and let you take over. Thank you so much. We know the deal, don't we? It's questions at the end of each presentation in the chat, or just pop your hand up and we'll work through those questions as we go. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Can I share my presentation?
Yes, I'm going to get rid of mine. And you should be able to share now, I believe.
Yeah, is it? Can you see my presentation?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Wonderful. So then, hello everyone, and thank you so much for the invitation to GIER Lightning Talks. We are pleased to share with you our pathways through our journey of our international and interdisciplinary collaboration. It is a mouthful. But first of all, we would like to do the acknowledgement of country. Let me add something to that topic. I have to admit, when I first came to Australia in 2019, and I heard the acknowledgement of country at an intercultural event at Roma Park, I was pretty confused and intrigued of the statement. I thought, why is there a statement in which white Australians as a group acknowledge Indigenous people as a group? And for me, it sounded like othering. We acknowledge them. And I really asked myself, isn't there an Australian society of humans who live in this beautiful country together to create a community of people? After living here for several months and keep returning, I slowly started to understand the importance of that statement. So I am honored to be here and gratefully acknowledge for us who are sitting here that this is the land of the traditional custodians. We gratefully pay our respect to the elders, past, present, and emerging, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island people. So Danielle, would you like to add anything?
That was a beautiful acknowledgement, Meike, and really great to see how how you've come to understand the importance of it. So I'd just like to add that that the lands on which we're meeting today have long been sites of learning and education. That's not something new. So again, just paying respect to the traditional custodians. I'm on Yagara Turrbal land at the moment, and also to the other country on which Griffith University is also located.
Yeah, thank you so much, Danielle, for the adding. So here you can see our team. The white team is from Germany, working for the University of Regensburg, which is located in Bavaria, which is in the very south of Germany. So the red team, you probably know, because it's working for Griffith University. So who is on board our team? This is Professor Sven Hilbert, who is not here today, obviously. He has a chair for educational data science, is specialized on quantitative methodology in educational science, and expert for machine learning and AI. An early settler on our team is Sarah Prestridge. Sarah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'll have a chat probably a few slides down, but yes, I'm Sarah. I'm here from Griffith University and part of the group, really focusing around digital pedagogies.
Next on board was Beryl Exley.
Hello, everybody. My area of interest is around literacy education. Thank you.
And additionally, we have got two fantastic ECRs on board who are very important members of our team. That is Richard and Danielle. Richard, would you like to start?
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Richard. I'm a research associate and PhD candidate. I would say a few more words about me because you probably don't know me. As a research associate, I lecture in the area of primary education, focusing mainly on literacy acquisition, so on how students learn to read, write, and spell. In my research, I conduct linguistic analyses of corpora used to teach spelling. I explore digital spelling behavior in students, and I research machine learning algorithms, which is part of artificial intelligence to predict specific spelling errors by primary school students. Yeah, that's mainly.
Thank you so much, Richard. Danielle?
Hello, I think most of you know me, but Danielle, and my main area that I look at is multilingualism as well as sociolinguistics, but I also teach in some of the literacy areas as well that we have in EPS.
So, and finally, it's me. My name is Meike Munser-Kiefer. I'm a professor for primary education with a focus on diversity at the University of Regensburg. I'm also head of the Center for Migration and Education, and since 2021, I'm proudly adjuncted to Griffith Uni as a professor. So as a professor for primary education, I train pre-service teachers, and I'm doing research in the huge field of primary education. So let me give you a quick idea what this subject is about in Germany. It might help you to understand why all these people gathered in these past 4 years. So primary education is a broad subject in Germany. It covers 3 basic topics in teaching and research. First, it's primary school education itself, e.g. Teaching and learning at the age of a primary student, having 2 junctions, one between kindergarten and the other one to secondary school. But there is also literacy acquisition and science, which includes social science, sciences and nature sciences. So additionally, of course, there are typical key issues of our area that impact primary education, which is digitization, diversity, equity, inclusion, and education for sustainable development, just to name a few of them. So why am I telling you this? It is helpful in an interdisciplinary and international collaboration if there's a person that at least somehow has an insight in the collaborating disciplines. So it all started with Sarah visiting our university in Regensburg in 2011. So Sarah, would you like to explain how it started?
Sure, thanks, Meike. In 2011, we had a visit from the team and from Professor Rudi Hitzler. And he came to Griffith through an invitation because he brought a group of pre-service teachers. And I was the first year advisor at the time, and I was asked to shepherd the group. And through shepherding the group, I got to know Professor Hitzler very well and invited him to one of my lectures that I was doing on digital pedagogy, and the whole group came. And at the end of the lecture, he said to me, "Sarah, we'd love to invite you to Regensburg." And from that moment, we developed a very important relationship where I visited Regensburg University and did a lot of the digital pedagogy work at the university. So I had visited in 2012, 2016, 2018, 2022 and 2023. So I've done a lot of work moving back and forward around this movement for digital pedagogy. So it sort of started really because I was the first year advisor and lucky enough to have a conversation with a group of international colleagues.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sarah, for this. So my journey with my fellow colleague Sven started in 2018, pretty shortly after the two of us came to the University of Regensburg. And our main goal was developing learning software that integrates AI to give students an individual learning journey meeting their individual learning needs. So in and that was the reason why we asked contact Sarah Prestridge to Sarah, and Rudy gladly gave us that contact. So in 2019, we applied for an internal award at our uni together with Sarah, and luckily we won the competition and got our first funding to start our project. In 2019 and 2020, I was invited as a visiting scholar to spend my research leave at Griffith Uni. So I came over to Australia for nearly 9 months, and I brought my family with me and sent my kids to Australian schools. The younger one to New Farm State School and the older one to Balmoral State High School. This gave me a fantastic insight into the Australian society, and at least a feeling for the context. I had an intensive glimpse into the schooling system from a perspective as a researcher and a mum. And of course, I got an insight in the Australian university system by working with my lovely colleagues and meeting and chatting about this and that with a lot of other people. So maybe last week you thought, who's that strange woman at the EPS retreat? But for me, it felt a bit like meeting old classmates. During my research leave, I met Beryl, who carefully assessed me in countless meetings. So Beryl, would you like to explain this to our audience?
Okay, thank you so much, Meike. So when I'm thinking about setting up collaborations, I think it's really important to invest heavily at the front end in conversations about what are points of similarities, what are points of difference, because I believe that it's more useful to have those conversations early rather than get through the project and realise that there is philosophical slippage within the project team. We know that there's got to be points of difference because that's what makes it multidisciplinary, but we also need to know that there is a shared philosophy that will actually guide all of these multiple forms of knowledges coming together. So Meike and I, with Richard, I think we probably had about up to 10 hours worth of meetings just before we committed to working together.
Yeah, thank you so much for this, Beryl. And then in early 2020, Richard, who is a staff member of mine in the position as a research assistant, came over to Australia. And we had these lovely chats with Sarah and Beryl. So we did a lot of work together. So, and after that, Australia unfortunately locked its doors for 2 years, but we stayed in close contact, went on with our research project, applied for additional funding. In 2021, I was adjunct as a professor to Griffith, which made things a lot easier because we could share the same infrastructure and collaborating got more like a home run. So, and in 2022, with the DART project, that has an Australian part as well, we got Danielle on board. Danielle, would you like to elaborate this a little?
Yes, thank you. So I was really fortunate to be included as part of this team in 2022. So I'd been at Griffith for about, I think, only 6 months at this stage, but I'd been doing quite a bit with Beryl. So I suppose she had vetted me in a way, and I was very aware of how thorough and careful Beryl was about all of the work that she did. So when Sarah called me to ask if I was interested in being part of this project, given my background in languages and my connections to Germany, of course I said yes. And it's been a really great project to be involved in since then. For me, it was also one of the draw cards was being able to work with really experienced academics, not only here in Australia, but overseas. So for me, it was a very easy yes. And I'm still very glad that I got invited in 2022.
And we're glad that we have you on board. So with Danielle came some amazing Australian teachers additionally to the German ones that joined us in early 2019. And here we are. It was a long journey and a carefully built relationship that brought us here. So why are we telling you this? It costs some time to develop the understanding needed for bringing different countries and systems together. It is not about collaboration at all costs. There has to be a common sense of pedagogy, philosophy, but also some kind of differences to elaborate the other party's knowledge as well. So here you can see a quick journey of our topic. It started with Sarah being an expert in teaching and learning with digital technology, and Sven and me being an expert, him for ML, machine learning, and me for teaching and learning at primary level. In the topic of literacy acquisition, our Your Fellows project was called Literacy Acquisition and Digital Education. And when I came to Griffith, Sarah and me also worked on distance education, teaching and learning online, and higher education, which both contributed to our core project because we looked at teaching quality in an online space. This finally led to our DAAD project that is about adaptive learning programs in the classroom, which with the need of data-informed teaching strategies and teachers with data literacy. So again, why are we telling you this? The topic and the projects around it developed and shifted by learning from each other in intensive collaborations. So this is the core of our project. That's TALIDO, which is an acronym for Talents Individually Uncovered. Currently, TALIDO is a spelling app, and that supports children's individual learning journey. One child can travel this journey more quickly. The other one might need more time and support. And that's what the app tries to do. So TALIDO merges diagnosis and training to adjust the learning offer to children, the learning offer a child gets. We added gamification, of course, to keep the kids on board, and we developed and develop continually developing learning analytics to give teachers and learners an insight in the whereabouts of their learning journey. What we've done so far in Australia is collecting data in Australian schools, developed category systems, do expert labeling, cleaning and enhancing the data set, and start training the algorithm. So to make this project happen, there have been a couple of projects around TALIDO that supported the project's development. So here you can see the funding and what the single projects around TALIDO was about. There was our fellow that gave us the opportunity to start the project. We had the IGP project that developed the app in German and Australia. We had the ELDUR project in Germany, which is a large university government-funded German project. That helped us to develop teachers' capacities for adaptive learning software. For example, with data literacy, knowledge about AI-supported tools, and data-informed teaching strategies by using diagnosis as a base of students' training. The DART project on the German side and the Germany joint project, gladly funded by Griffith University, gave us the chance to bring our project to schools and the real world. So now we are on the doorstep to develop teachers and students' capacities for the use of ML-supported tools in the classroom and do research on the individual learning gains in diverse settings. So again, why are we telling you this? You definitely need funding and structural aid to go broad. And let us tell you, funds for international collaborations are rare. And if not so, please tell us. So to be able to do this project, we had to take in a lot of people from different disciplines. As you can see here, we had computer scientists for the coding. We had pedagogues and early literacy experts for the app development. We had linguistic experts for the content. We had big data and ML experts for the training of the algorithm. And again, why are we telling you this? For the topic we chose, we needed a lot of experts that are hard to find and that are hard to bring at one table and that have difficulties to understand each other because of the different languages. And I'm not talking about English and German. I'm talking about professional language in each discipline. So finally, so what are the issues and benefits of collaborating internationally and interdisciplinary? So we've done interviews with all the people that collaborated within this project, but this hasn't been fully analyzed yet. So we want to give you our personal insights for the moment. The paper hopefully will follow soon. So to the team, what are the issues and benefits of collaborating internationally and interdisciplinary? Who wants to start? Sarah, would you like to start as the early settler in our project?
For me, one of the biggest things is working with your colleagues and watching Danielle and Richard grow as researchers. That has been absolutely a blessing around the support and engagement as a team and how we've been able to support these early career researchers in amongst all of the other activity that is happening with the group. So one of the core benefits to me, which the DART is focused on, is the support of early career. And, you know, to have such opportunity to be able to work, you know, as colleagues in this space across in different places and phases of the project has been an absolute benefit for me around research collaboration.
So it wasn't only interdisciplinary and internationally, it also was inter-career stages. Okay, thank you so much, Sarah. What about you, Beryl?
What I've come to observe is the research process and how the research process has a different modus operandi in Germany vis-a-vis Australia. So things like ethics processes are handled very differently, and having substantive conversations around that, it helps me to think how things could be otherwise, or how I could be part of that conduits that actually helps things to be otherwise in my own context. Having a look at the way that each of the teams engages industry partners differently and bringing some of those disparate understandings to that conversation. Language has also been really important. I, like most Australians, suffer from monolingualism, which means we are 100% reliant on our German partners to have not only their social English intact, but also to have a really high level of academic English intact. And for that, I'm very humble, but eternally grateful that Richard and Meike bring so much English competencies to our discussions. Thanks, Meike.
Yeah, thank you so much, Beryl. So language is obviously a topic, and yeah, so if you Australian or English-speaking people state we do international collaboration, it isn't. You use your own language. So that's makes it so much easier. So Beryl, so Danielle, what was your issues and benefits of collaborating?
Yes, I think mostly I just have benefits. As Beryl mentioned, the research process, being able to see how experienced academics were engaging in the research process. And I mean, everything from Beryl and I looking at tiny images and having to code them and spending hours with cutouts spread across the floor, to ethics applications and dealing with issues around that. That was really important to do. Also being able to be involved in the university processes, so attending some of the events. I was able to do invited talks and work with the students over there. And for me, because I do speak some German, being able to use my German is really important, because my teaching area that I train our pre-service teachers in here in Australia is the languages curriculum unit. So for me, being able to go and get some of that authentic experience and use my German actually means I've got something to bring back as well. And the other thing that's been really good to work on is my content knowledge around literacy acquisition, because as I mentioned, I'm also convening and teaching units around that. So it's been a really intensive process of engaging in understanding that, and certainly through discussions, particularly with Richard when I was there recently, it's been a huge deep dive into literacy acquisition and the differences between English and German. So that's really helped me to improve my content knowledge in that way as well. And also just having unfettered access to academics such as yourself and Beryl and Sarah to just talk about being an academic. That's something that we just never have time for, it seems. But when you are traveling for the research project, you're inevitably grabbing a bite to eat and you're having these more informal conversations and getting some advice and hearing about their experiences. And that, I think, is something that, is just absolutely invaluable about this kind of project.
Yeah, thank you so much, Danielle. So for me, I also picked that there are strengths and weaknesses in each system, and it's always worth to learn about the blind spots each system has. So putting knowledge together is creating and co-constructing new knowledge, and that's an amazing thing to do. Not every country has to invent the wheel by itself. So I think that's a very good opportunity to learn. So what about you, Richard?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with what was already being said. It's really enriching as an ECR to have that opportunity to go over and to learn from each other, and and probably an issue is what you said already, Meike, is the language, not the language German, English, but the language between disciplines. I was also involved in the development of the application, and the language they use in their profession, and to find a common sense in what they wanted to be the app be like, and us as pedagogues and so on is quite not too easy, but it's also enriching to go beyond what is just discussed in pedagogy. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this, Richard. So final slide to sum this up. Where is the going on into? We as a team will go on with our project and move into the field of schools. I will, if everything goes well, will be back for my next research leave in August 2024, and will stay until April 2025 again. So that will give us large opportunities for collaborating. So, and other people take in as well. Then Sarah and me, we will work on distributed teaching. Danielle and colleagues, as maybe Susie Garvis or Ben Fenton Smith or Tasha Riley, among others, will work on internationally linked coursework. Danielle will go on with a collaboration with junior professor Evgenia Golstov. You can ask her about this fantastic side effect project she started while visiting our university in Germany. So there's still lots of things to do, but for now, thank you for your attention. Have you got any questions? Probably there is not much time left, so sorry for talking so long.
Oh, thank you, Meike and team. That was absolutely brilliant. So interesting. Yes, big round of applause. Thank you so much for sharing, such rich details about the process of your project. It's very powerful. And I think the time frame you know, from 2011 to now is such a testament to the way you've worked together. That is obviously still bringing you a lot of joy and productivity because you're all still smiling, which is fantastic, you know. And I also think it's a really wonderful example of research remaining relevant, RRR. You know, you really jumped onto something early and it's had longevity because it's still relevant, which is just so terrific. There's a couple of wonderful comments in the chat, as you'll see. I won't repeat the comments of support. There's quite a few there, but there are some questions rolling in. And the first one is from Leonie. Her question is to you, as Institute Director, my question is, given the benefits of an international and interdisciplinary collaboration, what structural decisions or investments enable support for this kind of work? Could you respond to that?
Thank you so much. Danielle, would you like to respond to that?
Yeah, sure. I think financial support is always really helpful, especially as an ECR, because my surplus account is only so much. And so GIER were amazing. You know about this, Leonie, in introducing the carers grant. So that was really, really helpful and did make a huge difference. So I think that's a real sign of how open and progressive and supportive GIER are. Something else I think that we could consider that was a little bit tricky with our project because of COVID would just be timing. So maximising, you know, picking the right time to go is also really important. So ensuring that we've got, you know, our research trimester, which we do have, and ensuring we've got flexibility perhaps around other teaching arrangements so that if we are to be travelling for this sort of thing, it's a little bit easier to make it work.
Thank you, Danielle. And Sarah would like to chime in, I believe. Sarah?
Yeah, just a wee little time. I honestly think it really helped supporting Meike's position as adjunct at Griffith University. I think that was key because she felt part of our university. Even the statement she made about being at the retreat, that shift to be actually included with us as a co-academic, I think provides that driver for you to keep the project going so long. And it also just means we're on the same field. We're working together. You know, we have that. You know, even to the point of software availability. That some of the work we have the same software access. So I think really us being able to do that early on was key to keeping the movement going.
Thanks. That's just really helpful for us because we're always collecting data about like how things play out. And like obviously I knew that adjunct positions were important, but I hadn't actually considered the practicalities around shared platforms, you know, for example. So that was a really great. And the research is great as well. Sorry, obviously. Just got my planning hat on, you know.
Thanks, everyone. That's really helpful advice, I think. I met Meike at the EPS retreat and she was at my table and I thought you just were part of the furniture. So it's obviously working, that strategy. Brilliant. Are there any final questions or comments? There's some lovely comments in the chat there. A sustained collaboration. Yes, absolutely. Really good learnings. Thank you so much. Thank you.